Hi everybody, it's probably Red. So we're gonna jump into a sealed league, and then I'm going to give you a rundown of what cards I'll be using for this first 10 matches, and then I'm gonna play 10 matches. So let's jump right into it, opening these packs. Okay, here we go. So we got the awesome card back. I'm gonna go equip that real quick. So see you in a second for that. Also something noteworthy. It is a huge variety of packs. Like it's all of it. I'm pretty sure that's every single pack that has been put out. So this is gonna be wild. It is gonna be crazy, hectic, awesome, and I'm so excited to open these packs to just see what all like. It's just gonna be play good stuff and open up crazy stuff, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. It after that it kind of peters out into like a little bit smoother sailing. Like it's not just like crazy packs throughout the whole thing. It does kind of like balance itself out with a little bit more focused on I think it's Flames of Zolta, and then we got of course Echoes. As we kind of finish up that, there's a new set coming out soon, so they're doing something pretty crazy for this. So let me go ahead and equip that sleeve, even though we're not playing yet, but I'll be right back. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We're gonna start at the beginning. We're gonna start at the empty throne. All right, awesome. Okay, so oh man, it just looks so good. Oh, it's so crisp. Let's pop on that rare so people can be looking at it while I'm kind of evaluating what's going on. Blood Ray Callus is a very interesting pickup here. If we're in sacrifice, that could be pretty crazy. It does board wipe us, but it will make a massive weapon on certain boards. I don't know if it's going to be something we're running in draft. Um, but I've seen some pretty gnarly constructed decks with Blood Red Callus, and it is a fun, interesting, cool card. It's ironically goes really well with Smuggler Stash, it was a card that you see a lot with Smuggler Stash, um, uh, a while ago, back in the day. And I just did a Wyatt um, uh, lore. Yeah, I did the Wyatt lore along. So go ahead and listen to that if you haven't already. But yeah, reminded me of that with some Bloodright Callus action. Anyways, let's jump into the rest of this pack. I really like Gorgon Fanatic. I don't know how good it is in a sealed environment. I mean, I'm going to be saying that a lot because I mean, on some of these cards I've never played in a sealed environment. I have played set one draft a little bit, but not sealed. I don't think I'm pretty sure sealed didn't come out until like the fall of Argentport, maybe even Dusk Road. Um, of course, banners are always good. Static Bolt's removal, it does too, baseline, so that's not a bad card if we end up in Primal. Ravenous Thornbeast can be pretty great, especially in this kind of format. We've got some like fodder, like Dark Wisp and Ravenous Thornbeast are pretty good together. Initiative of the Sands, I don't know how much we're going to be wanting to ramp, but it's a pretty decent little ramper. It's just delicate. I like Nesting Avasor, but it's kind of like card disadvantage unless we have something with Echo. And then Brightmace Paladin is just a solid unit. Infiltrate, play the top unit of the enemy deck. That can be really swingy, but nice. I mean, a 4-cost 1/4 isn't like completely unplayable. It's just pretty slow. So overall, I think we got a pretty good pack. And then there's Ruin. You know, I mean, I don't know about in this format. Like there's so much. I don't think we'll end up doing it. When I said Fall of Argentport, I think I meant Omens of the Past. It might have been Fall of Argentport, like in my mind. That is when they started doing Sealed League, but I honestly I have no recollection of exactly when that started happening. Oh right. Okay. Let's crack that open. Once again, our rare isn't exactly a card we would want to see in a deck for sealed. So Stormglider though, a 4-cost 2/2 flying overwhelm that can get plus 3 attack, that could be nasty. Like it might like be a huge power investment. But I don't think it's a bad card. Like it's a nice little playable if we're in Skycrag. Dustblind's very not good. Very much not good. Now, I mean, we could probably find the deck that would run Master's Lessons, but that deck has to already be built, and then Master's Lesson just has to be something that's kind of playable, that just super has a lot of synergy with the deck, and that's the only reason we're running it. Time Weaver, double the cost of a card in the hand. The reason we run this is for the 5 cost 3/4. That's not much of a reason. We could make something just not be played for a while, but I don't think that's too big of an impact. Grenade's okay. Okay. Dealing 3 damage to an enemy unit and 3 damage to an enemy player, but you have to sack a unit. Now, if you're sacking something with an Entomb effect, or with Echo, or like that, like any kind of ability, like where you get advantage, it makes Grenade pretty good. And seeing more banners is always good. This is a really strong card in my opinion. Giving flying to the student, it might not always come out like that. It might just be a 5 cost 3/2, which is not great stats to be honest. Like a 5 cost 3/3 is pretty like playable, but the reason this is good is you're giving up that 1 health and you're gaining the ability to potentially create a flyer, like maybe even a large flyer, like a 4 cost, and then curving into this, you can make that 4 cost real strong. Um, it likes kind of come out late game. If you're getting into like the high costs and you're like, drawing 2s, getting a 5 cost and 3 cost, you have 8. Like it's kind of a dream scenario, but like just plopping them down, kind of a slow speed mentor effect, like before it has the ability to attack. Crafty Yeti. I think it's a pretty solid card. I remember not taking it a lot when I was drafting omens in the past a while ago, and I wasn't a super skilled drafter. I'm not saying I'm like a super great amazing drafter now, but I definitely think I'm better than I was, like by a long shot. I'm improving over time, that's for sure. And I did not run Crafty Yeti a lot, but looking at it now, thinking about it now, I think it's actually pretty solid. It looks solid. It might be a trick, but I think it's a good card. 3 cost 3/2 just seems not bad. Like, I mean, it trades down sometimes, but you can get a spark effect. I mean, you can just get rid of a essentially you don't need in some scenarios. Ridgeline Watcher highly is dependent on what we get as far as weapons or unit synergies, like buffs. Um, I mean, in a 4 cost 3/3, where they just isn't like mind blowing. It's just okay. It's just decent. If we don't have a lot of 4 costs, then it's a good filler card. Minotaur Oathkeeper. I really am fond of Minotaur Oathkeeper in kind of like a casual constructed environment. And I don't super know how I feel about it in a limited sealed environment. So we'll see if that ends up making it. Swear Vengeance I don't think is super good. I think it's actually kind of bad. I used to be very high on this card, but no, I'm not anymore. And Cripple. This card can take out units. Like it can take out flyers, like a Storm Glider, for instance. Like this is Storm Glider's worst nightmare. It's a very strong card. Not very strong. It's just decent. And the nice thing is it's a permanent debuff. So even if it doesn't like take out a smaller unit, you could have the potential to really hamper a big flyer. Like making a if they got a flying 4/4, now they got a flying 1/2. Watch the fact that this can deal with that kind of opponent, with that kind of monster, that kind of enemy. It has the side benefit of them not being able to recur it. They just have to like buff it more, which because it's not a curse, it's just a permanent stat change. I really like this card. I think it's aged well, and it's very good. No, no, no. Yeah, I think it's a good card. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah, sorry. Dusk Road. This is one of the, out of all of the sets that have come out, other than, I want to say Flames of Zolta, probably. And also Omens of the Past. I was excited for Omens of the Past, like a good bit, just because I was like, oh my gosh, set 2, this is crazy. Now Dusk Road, just like they hyped it, all of like the with the art and the campaign and stuff and everything. It just was so hype for me. Like I really was stoked. So yeah, let me open this up real quick so we can see. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I loved Nightfall. Nightfall was one of my big mechanics. I almost forgot this is the set that Nightfall's from, and I'm already seeing some cards I really am remembering fondly. This is also the set where I really started to pick up speed in drafting. Like I was drafting like crazy. Not saying I did super well in drafting here, but I think it was the first time I got to Diamond, and I still haven't made it to Masters in Draft, which looks bad seeing as how many sets there are, but I've been to Diamond a couple times. And I plan on making Masters eventually. I wish there was like Masters in Sealed League, because I think last month I 100% would have made it. I did really good. Go back and watch those if you haven't already. I was very fond of the packs and everything and how everything was working, how the games went. It was awesome. Okay, so let's read this card. Dangerous Bargain, summon Nightfall, steal the cursed unit until night ends. I don't think, even though I like Nightfall, that's like kind of a last resort rare for me to run. Alright, now let's look at these uncommons. Rooftop Vigilante, 100% excellent. I love this card. This is a very strong card in my eyes. If we're an Argent port, definitely include. It kind of pulls us to Argent port. Ground Crew, I remember this card being insane. So, oh, I'm mistaking this. Am I mistaken for this for another card? There's like one where you like pay 6. Yeah, there's Ground Crew, and then I guess Sky Crew is the other one. That gives it to any unit, not a Valkyrie. This card seems good too if you have a Valkyrie. I just misread the card. I think I mistook it for a different card. But yeah. I mean, a 4-cost 2/4 is not terrible. I like Repulsive Gorger a good bit. The fact that it's permanent is pretty nice. It's like kind of like a reverse Zen and Obelisk without the without you having it maximum power. It's like what's the one that gives Gathering Lights, the 4-cost? It's like a +1/+1, but you're giving it a -1 to all your opponents that are on the board when this enters. So it's definitely a lot worse because like over time, and it's on a unit, but it's also in a 7/4 body, and it's a summon effect. So if you recur it, you can do it again. Like I like Repulsive Gorger for a lot of reasons, and I think it's really strong. It's runnable, definitely runnable. Now let's go to this Valkyrie Archanis. This card I remember getting nerfed in this set. It was I want to say it was a 5-cost 3/3. No, it couldn't have been. Was it? No. Other cards got nerfed around it, I believe. That's what happened. Other cards got nerfed around it that made this card worse, like the Archetype of Justice got worse. And this card got less ran. But man, that's awesome, cool card. Art is great, and it's still good. 6-cost 3/3 is kind of slow, but when it dies, you get a Gem Blade. Like, that's awesome. It's a good bit of value packed into one common. Wild Rider. I remember I tried to play Wild Rider so much, and I just never really succeeded. I mean, it's not terrible. It's kind of like that, if you ever played Magic the Gathering, like kind of the vampire effect where he keeps hitting the opponent and gets stronger stats. In this case, he gets a buff to his attack every time he hits the enemy player directly. So if he had Overwhelm or something, and then Overwhelm with 1, doesn't really do anything. It would kind of snowball more so. I mean, he does kind of snowball. He's got the snowball effect, but not the snowball effect. Like he snowballs out of control. Anyways, done ranting about Wild Rider. Slope Sergeant. I feel like this card has potential. I've played it a couple times and it's been good, but I just feel like it's hard to play unless you just happen to have a lot of Yeti. And the amount of Yetis definitely varies from set to set. So we'll have to see where that sits. I think we're more likely to get dinosaurs because I feel like they've just done dinosaurs so often. Yetis is pretty common too. And I think Grittiden is like one of the less likely. Anyways, because they kind of stopped when they got the Zolta. Okay, so Bang Sarasaur. I remember playing a lot of this card. 3 cost 2/2 Nightfall. Okay, when you draw a card, this gets +1/+1 this turn. Okay, yeah, I remember playing this card and it being pretty decent. I think it was just a meta thing. I feel like the stats were just kind of like, in general, like this was just really good rate comparatively. I don't think personally that it's that great of a rate. And now of the bonus of the ability was like +1/+1, and then it didn't say this turn. I think it might just, yeah, that would be like there's a 5 cause 1/1, the Sonic Savant. It'd be like that. So it would just be mind blowingly good. It doesn't have flying, but I think it would be so overpowered. Anyways, I don't know. I think it could be run, but I don't think I want to. Powder Keg Rider, 5 cost 3/4 ult. Whenever it ultimate triggers whenever one of your other Grenadin dies, and this gets to become a 7/4. It already has Overwhelm, so I mean, and the stat line is pretty bad, honestly. The Overwhelm definitely helps, and if you're in Grenadin, that's when you want to start thinking about considering this card. You want to have like, I would say like 6 other Grenadin at least. I mean, you could probably go as low as like 4, but I would say you want 6. Like, you want to be able to trigger that ability to make this good. 3 cost 3 threes and Justice are not bad. And then this one's got the added effect of whenever you play a weapon on Copperheart Marshal, what the heck is that called? It's like half of Renown. It's Renown without the spells. But you get to stun an enemy unit. Okay. That's an interesting little effect that kind of ended up over time becoming Renown. Cool. Copperheart Marshal. I dig that. I think it's an okay card. I like that it's got like the potential to have the Gunslinger synergy or the Minotaur synergy, even though Minotaur synergy is very rare. Hoof Slash, I feel like has a lot more potential than it looks like at first glance. The fact that it's fast spell is like what saves this card. If you're needing 3 drops and you're needing like a interaction, you could still use this and it can be effective. It's just kind of bad, but it's not unplayable. Wanted poster, it's really cool to get a premium version of this, and I do not know if I'm going to be running it. So let's get on. That was the Dusk Road. Now on to the Fall of Argent. Let's see what we got here. Take a sip of this real quick. All right. Okay. That's it. Okay, so that was ground. I think that was ground crew. Now this is sky crew. This is the card that like you kind of look at and you're like, is this even good? This card's awesome. At least it was. I remember it being amazing. Fall of Argent is another one that I was kind of like, it just, after the Dusk Road, rolling into this draft environment, loved it. I also kind of took a break. I think it was like a year-long break, somewhere around the middle of when Defiance came out, and almost missed. Like I came back at the Flame of Zolta, so came back at the Flame of Zolta. It was right after Flame of Zolta dropped, and then when I came back, I was like, what happened is I skipped the Trials of Grodov, I guess what it's called. But I did go back and I had it just logged back in. I had enough gold saved up to actually buy Defiance Story. And that's kind of how I got back into it. I was like, okay, let's get the Defiance Story. And then I bought that, and then I saved up again and got the Flames of Zolta story. Played through that after I beat the Defiance one. I was like, all right, I'm back in. Cool. Got some cards to start, like some campaign cards to start building and brewing with for funds. And then, then after a while, saved up some more gold, did a couple drafts, and then, then I started the channel after Echoes came out, basically. So that was a little bit of a history of me. Okay, so that's out of these 3 other packs. kind of been disappointed with the rares. Now this card, now this is a rare I can get behind. This is a good card. Increase the cost of a spell or sight in the enemy hand by 1. Not super important. But if we've got 2 or more spells in our void, we can make this a 4/4 just by paying 3. And it gets overwhelmed, which for a 2 cost, go from 2 cost to 3 cost is not really going to happen turn 2, turn 3, because you need some really, really cheap spells and be able to like cast them or play them real quick. Cast them real quick. But I think this card has potential. This is probably the best rare we picked up so far. We're in Elysian. You better believe it's going into the deck, even if it's just a 2 cost 0 for a defender. And hopefully we got a lot of spells to kind of work with that. But like I said, Sky Crew, it's a solid card. Like, it has potential. The 4 cost 2/4 is not that great, but you know, the ability is just phenomenal once you get it off. Shamebearer, I think that has potential. Like, I mean, it's okay. It's like kind of a playable pawn kind of card. It's okay. 2 cost 2/2. Not super fond of Argent Deathwatcher. I haven't played it a lot. I don't remember it being very good. It's like it could be a 3/3 sometimes. It can also be like a 5/5 or a 3, which is nice. But the double shadows kind of pull me away from it too. It's not my cup of tea. Zen and Life Speaker. Now that's a pretty solid little card there. The ability that you can just drop it as a 1 cost and then get a 4/4 and then also get some lifesteal card, like the lifesteal battle skill over time on incremental units that you've drawn. That's pretty solid. Great fixer here and learned herbalist, so that's probably going to go into a deck if we're running time at all. Spite Feeder is a mill card with a humbug attached to it. It's okay. Not super fond of it. I think it's definitely barely playable, if that. Light 'em up. It's half a rally at a third of the cost, and I just don't really like it. I don't know. I think it's not bad though. I'm not a card I've ever really been fond of, and I don't know. Like, I'd have to be in like a tokeny, high numbers kind of battle. We want a lot of units. 7 cost 5/4. Get Core Scavenger here. We give other unit +2/+1 while we have the Core Scavenger. So it's a little bit of a temporary buff. These kind of cards, like with the little stat buff, they really confuse me. I was always like, okay, can we get that on a flyer? Yes, let's do that. That was how I thought of them, as like that's how they had to be good. Okay. So Core Scavengers, I don't know if that'll make it in. And then we got First Frost Shaman, 5 cost 2/4. Summon, give it. Okay, this one's the same kind of idea, but with +3 health. To get 2/8 on 2 bodies, if we have another unit, which we should, 100%. I think it's good. I think it might get ran if we have Primal. Trick Shot, Overwhelm, and Quick Draw is okay, but it's only really super good on a deadly unit. I feel like this was a 3 cost, but I don't remember. Grave Tender. We got Flying and Tribute +2/+2. So it could be a 3/3 if something died. That doesn't seem bad. Seems like a pretty good card. Okay, let's check out what we've got in the Defiance pack. Wow. That's kind of a bomb rare right there. The fact that it can add time or primal at the beginning of the game, that's excellent. And then you can just pay 3 multiple times a turn to give it a +1/+1 buff. Flying 4/4 for 5 and 2 double colors. Like, it really is starting to pull us into Elysian. It's really good. Bleak Base and Guide's okay. It's just super delicate. Defiance is a really good card, I feel like. I think it's actually super runnable. I think it's better in Constructed, but I don't think it's too shabby. Especially after the buff. Or the the change back. Give an enemy unit and each enemy unit with the same name -2/-2. I like that card a lot. Super good against like a cloning technique or like a copy effect or just making a bunch of tokens, that kind of thing. In addition to that, it's just like 2 costs for -2. It's perfect. Yep, it's just until the end of this turn, but Pistol Whip. Give one of your units +2/+2 this turn and stun an enemy unit. It's really good if like it's 1v1. So you stun the enemy unit and you swing in with your +2 this turn bonus. I think it's a good card. Fireheart Recruit. 3 cost 3/1 with quick draw and pledge. Pledge really helps this card out. Endure, not really a card I super like. I'm sure it has potential, but I just don't know. Pay 7 to draw a card. I don't think this is super good. The ability to stun enemy units, okay. So this costs 3 less while you have a relic. So right now it's 3 less. Or is it like when you play it? A 2 cost 1/3 that when you play a spell or weapon on gains killer. So I mean if you played the +2/+0 on him, that's pretty bad. It could be dangerous. Okay. And then Barrel Through is a really good fast spell. I like that it gives us the influence. It's nice. And be gone. Put a unit into its owner's hand and gain Justice or Shadow. Okay. Okay. Let's crank this rare out. Okay. So, let's pop open this Flame Exalted pack. Alright, so we got a Borderlands Lookout. There's a possibility we play it, but I feel like we're probably only going to see 3 or, like in some cases, 2 factions. But I mean, like with all this, with all these different packs, it might end up being like crazy. Like there might be some like 4 or 5 color decks. I don't know. Like it's like the average multicolor of all the packs, but it might just be. I don't know. I guess we'll see where the factions sit, and if it's just a card we need to run. I mean, it'll be at least a 1 cost 1/2, which is pretty bad, but it's not that in the world because it has a little bit of upside, it has the potential. Now, Spike-tailed Cura, now that card is excellent. It's just all around good. That Mastery 6, once obtained, can be pretty solid if you have kind of a token build. But even if not, like paying 6 to give it +4/+4 is like actually really solid. Like it's a 2-drop with a lot of potential. Slayer's Edge, I think it's good basically just because it's a 5/2 weapon. I don't really been keeping track, but I don't know how many dragons we've gotten. In this pack, there's none, and I mean, I would guess we have like 2 or 3 dragons at least already, but I don't remember like going over any dragons. So it might draw us 0 to 1, I would guess, probably in all likelihood. But I mean, if we're in fire, I mean, it's not the worst weapon. It does kill something. Um, Conservatory Alchemist actually has a pretty good synergy with Rock's Choice, but it just depends on how many, if we're in Felon and how many curses, like it's alright. And then also just being a 2 cost 2/2, it's not good enough if it's a 2 cost 2/2 if it has the blue and the black, like influence cost. It's just a lot. Okay, so a 3 cost 2/1, and then we could pay an extra 3 to give it a flash grenade on cast. I think it's runnable. I've actually played a couple crowd quellers, and I think it's definitely runnable in Justice, especially if we're low on playables. Wizened Crone, I don't really know. I mean, obviously it's got really great synergy with Greed's Reward, given that the ability to turn into a Wisdom of Elders basically with upside, like with the ability to draw 2. Well, the downside here is you lose a maximum power. But if it's late game, it doesn't matter. But other than that, like the thing is Wissengrow needs a lot of spells for it to really be good. Like a lot of damage dealing spells. Other than that, it's a 2-cost 2/1. It's very delicate too, so your game plan can get messed up real easy. Makar's Bloodwolf. 3-cost 2/3 is not the greatest stat line, but the lifesteal kind of redeems that. And then if it gets mastery up, it's a really solid unit. So I've seen it be very playable. Oni Stalwart, sure, a good card, in my opinion. It just plays really well. The endurance is nice. Until you start getting into like mid to late game, it starts becoming outclassed. But hopefully by then it is a 3/6. So definitely has some potential. Immortalize is a very, very, very good card. Like I love this card. A lot of people like it. A lot of people love it. It gets ran a ton, and just overall solid. Recursion's good. You have like a massive amount of card selection if you have a bunch of units, because if you're like late game and your void is full of units, you get to pick which one you get. So you just get your best unit back. And then the Exalted is just it's really good potential. The hard part about this card is knowing when to decimate and when to not. And that's like the case with a lot of decimate cards. Sometimes it's like you don't even use a card unless you're decimating. Like you can't, because it's some cards are just bad. Like the 3-cost deal 2 damage on decimate. That if you don't decimate it, all it does is give the opponent the unit a curse with Reckless. I can't remember the name of that card, but it's in Primal. I think I already said it's 3-cost. And it's just bad. Giving an opponent Reckless for 3 and a whole card is not worth it. But I mean, doing 2 to them in a draft environment, it might actually be like the thing that kills them. Like it could work. Like it's not the best card. Anyways, but there is the potential for it to be removal. That's like if you're running it, you have to pretty much decimate it to ever play it. So this is a 4-cost 3/3. I've avoided playing this card as much as possible. I just don't think Curse of Taxation is very good. I'm sure it can be good. It's just a super extremely situational. So yeah, I'm gonna try to not play that. Creed's Reward is only really good if we got like a little bit of a spell damage burst, in my opinion, because you have to decimate to draw that card. And paying 3 to deal 1 damage, draw a card, and lose a maximum power is kind of bad, in my opinion. It's not super good. But to deal 2 damage, draw 2 cards, you can get a little bit better. Just take some setup. Let's go to the next pack. Ooh, Premium Strange Tracker. That's awesome. Let's start over here with Bottled Storm. Okay, so Bottled Storm is really good. Dealing damage to units, taking them out, and drawing cards eventually. Just pinging anything that's like the lower toughness. It could be pretty solid. And if you can get to 6 before you plop it down, it can act as kind of like a little bit of a surprise damage modifier. Like, oh, okay, well, here's an extra 1 damage. So that could be nice. With Shard Binder, if we had it, well, we're just not even gonna mention that because we don't have it. But okay, I'm gonna mention it for other people who might be look at their sealed pool, being like, what do I do with this? It's really good with Shard Binder. Now, one thing that might be against Bottled Storm this format, at least for now, at least at this exact moment, is that I don't know how much Relic Synergy there is total. Like, I mean, we'll look at this pack, we'll have to think about that as we go over all of our other packs. Dark Betrayal. This card is, in my opinion, trap card. Like, it looks, okay, cool, I get my opponent's thing and I sacrifice it. But the real thing that's kind of like the hidden bad part, it has to be in your opponent's hand. In a draft environment, once you get to 6 and you're top decking, if your opponent's keeping a unit in their hand, I mean, they're not. It's gonna be powerful because they're not able to play it. But usually it's not the case. It just doesn't happen. They'll just be, if you're top decking, you're just play something, unless they're drawing a lot of cards, and then you might get something off with Dark Betrayal. You make them discard a card, and you get a little bit of you get their summon ability, that kind of stuff. It's just not worth the card. It's clunky and weird and strange and swingy. Just all things you really don't want to see in a card. Not to mention it's a 6 cost. And there's a much better 6 cost. I hope. I hope we have much better 6 cost. Like, I would rather run Sunset Enforcer over Dark Betrayal. Okay. Let's go over here real quick. Spellbound Vestige. Your dragons cost 1 less. Once again, it totally. I'm not seeing any dragons in here. So the Dragon Synergy cards might not even get in. And unfortunately, that kind of continues to Strange Tracker. A 4 cost 2/4 with Berserk that gives other strangers Berserk, all other strangers Berserk. It's okay. But we're and then like if we have 2 dragons, we can run this. Yeah, I'll have to check to see what kind of dragons we got when I'm building this. Precision Plunge is totally dependent on how many flyers we have. Like we need I would say for it to be really good, 6 to 10 flyers, somewhere anywhere from there. This is pretty solid in general because it's like if we are fighting a swarm, it's really good. I think it's better in some formats than others, especially because the double damage is very reliant on what we get as far as weapons. So we'll see how good Willbreaker ends up being. And then Fanatical Stranger, solid. That's a stranger. And then pause. I just totally skipped over this. Actually, I don't even like Fanatical Stranger. I don't know. I just saw it and was like, okay, another stranger. But one of the things is there's not going to be a lot of stranger synergy in this set because I think it's only there might be 3, but I think there's only 2 or 3 sets total with strangers. I would have to say I'd have to check up on that. I can't believe I don't know. But I'd say 3, maybe 4. But there's not a lot of strangers. So it's a problem. And I'm not even fond of Fanatical Stranger. I don't even know why I said I liked it. I just kind of put my blinders onto that card. Yeah, I think it's be kind of bad. Unless we had if we're in Felon and we had a lot of ping effects like Bottled Storm, we could attack with the Fanatical Stranger and on before we attack again with our Fanatical Stranger, kill the cultists that they get if they attack with a stranger. That's kind of a stretch. Yeah. I was fond of this card, not 10 seconds ago, but I guess a month ago, and then I'd just never done anything with it, never succeeded with it. It does have it seems like it has a lot of potential, but I just don't think it's good. Okay, so pause for reflection. 1 cost, put a unit or relic with cost 3 or less into its owner's hand and gain 3 life. I think that's a constructed card. I don't think it's very good. And sealed. Sunset Enforcer, it's runnable if we have to run it. We really want to be in Sacrifice synergy, and even then, it's just not that great. Unfamiliar Interloper. Now, this card's pretty good even after the nerf. It's going to help us with fixing, which is something we severely need. Not super a lot to say here. It's so popular and good that, I mean, it got banned, so you know about this card. Or if you don't, here it is. Remember this face. Also, it's a premium, which is amazing. This is actually the same art that is at the beginning when you're opening up the game. At least at this exact moment. Love recording. Runa's Burst. I just thought this card was going to be amazing. It's just okay. And it was a lot better in the spell damage format that they had for a minute. And then they just kind of we're no, let's get rid of that. So now Runa's Burst is worse. Token of Menace, which it wasn't ever really that good. I'm sure we'll see its day, instead of for example, say instead of them focusing on what is it called, relic synergy, if they focus on spell damage or spell synergy in general, I think Runa's Burst could be really good. Anyways, I'm gonna build this and then I'll be right back. So see you in the games, or actually not in the games. Pause. Sorry. See you in the deck overview. Yes. Okay. Hey everybody. Alright, so let's see. Overall, practice ended up being kind of our lowest amount factions, and it also like wasn't super strong in either of those factions. And then Primal's kind of a weaker, like a weak point. But we have a lot of our multicolor cards are in Primal. So we're keeping it like that. By a lot, I thought I meant more than 2. Guess I didn't know. So we're gonna try out this build of the deck. I mean, it is just the first week, so maybe the power level of other decks isn't gonna be outrageous. We're gonna wing it. We're gonna try it out and see what it does. It's kind of just like Primal Justice Shadow. Uh, as good stuff as we can get stuff. I am running Svetya's Sanctum and 7 spells. So, and then there's other cards that like cast spells, like the Crowd Queller. I think that might be it. But I mean, I think that's plenty. Like I think it's got like pretty solid footing. We didn't get any legendaries. And a lot of our rares were sort of jank, but we tried to run as many as we could. So I mean, I think we got something here. It's just really, really odd. So we're running our Svetya's Sanctum. I think that's the only rare that we deemed playable in this version of the deck. So one nice thing is like as we go on for the weeks and we kind of explore like what else we could do to this deck, there is like just a lot of variety, and there are some pretty good cards in other factions. So we'll just see where it takes us and see what happens. Alright, let's get on to the games. Let's try a game out. Let's try this thing out in the game. Qui-Gon GC. Alright. Oh, we got all 3 colors. Alright, let's try that out. I don't want to try to get an early, organ flag. That'd be excellent. Let's do that. And we'll be swinging in. Turn 4 is when we'll be swinging in with Gorgon Fanatic, but so let's see what we can get done here. I think we kind of want to do Bottled Storm, huh? Let's start by swinging. Okay, Numbing Cold. Plays a spell. Okay. So the next spell, I gotta keep that in mind. Just in case I draw an important spell. Okay, so let's drop the Fanatic. Swing in for 2. See if we can get that Fanatic to survive long enough to do its thing. Because that, everything about it, if it can hit, it's super good. That's a problem. Didn't really calculate. We gotta get the 6 before we can swing in for 2. Get blocked to kill the Bald Storm. Okay, so out of all this, I definitely want to kill this thing. I kind of want to hold up Fellow Choice, but while we have playables, I mean, we might as well play them, you know? Honestly, we could trade a 3-2 for a 4-4. Works for me. So then in the world, at least we cleared up some space. And then, yeah, we do want to kill that. We're getting closer and closer to go unblocked. Next turn. So basically, what do we got here? Ooh, it could be bad for us. It could be anything. Okay. Let's just go ahead and swing. They can get another weapon if they want. Okay. Let's go face with that, draw some cards. I mean, even if it... Oh, yeah, let's shift. We want more power. I'd say it wouldn't hurt. We have plenty of playables. Ooh, that's not good for us. We gotta curse that. Somehow. We gotta manage to curse that. Count as a curse? Dang it. I wanted to count as a... Okay, here we go. Alright. What the... Oh, numbing cold. Dang it. Man. Could have done anything. Jump the gun. I jumped the gun. Let's stun it. I don't want to be taking some damage every turn. Gotta figure out something real quick. Holy mackerel, man. They got some nut stuff going on over there. Wow. Dang it, we need double justice. Yeah, this is getting crazy. Oh, we can get justice right here. Then that would be like a 4-2, or 4-3. Essentially, we need a little bit more of a boost. I think we need to look at a potential rework. Let's get ourselves a 5-5. We'll sack this. So a lot about this deck is going well. Our opponent just really went off. Let's do this. Next turn we're going to take 10 in the air to the face. Man. So, yeah. That's pretty rough. So I'm thinking of like, since we're only running 5-5s. Should really go with correctly. Okay. Yeah, let's just swing out. That's the best we got. pearlescent drink really kicked your butt. Holy crap. That's insane. Alright, I think we're gonna call that. Good game. Wow, that was intense. Okay, so we're gonna try that again. This time we're gonna try time as our third faction. So let's add some power. Actually, take all the power out. So Comrade Zeta will always come in depleted. I think like the cards we got in time, like there's just more cards you can run in time, like that are like actually gonna make the final cut. So I think this will be better. We have 3 cards we need to cut though. So 1 second. And I'll see you in the games. Okay, so this is the redo. Let me... What up, Bards? You get... Oh, we're up against Shinani Genri. I do not want 4 times. So as you can see, we've added time to the deck and taken out Primal. This doesn't look super good. We need time sigils. We do have a little bit of early interaction though, so I can't complain too much. Okay. Ooh, we did not want to top deck a unchecked depression. I mean, it's the end of the world. It's just not very good. The end of the world is not a very good start to the world here. Start turn. And, you have to swing it with a charging 2-1. Essentially. With killer. It's a 3-cost 2-1 with charging killer. That's awesome. That I cannot sacrifice. So let's swing. Maybe they have ambush. Nope, they didn't have ambush. So let's go. I guess I'll just plop down the Thorn Beast. Not that terrible. I didn't think about Warlock being double time though. It's a good card. It's just not that good. Maybe it is that good. It's a little bit of removal. So let's swing in for 3. Okay, well, opponent looks like they're stuck on something. I think I'd rather drop Sky Crew. Well, let's do a little bit of aggression. We need to push. Oh, what's that? What is that? I've never even seen this card. No, I've seen this. 5-cost 4/6 Overwhelm. Twist it to get life. That's a good card. Okay. Dang it. Almost was sort of flying. Okay. How do we do this? I just hope they don't play flyers in the second. Second spell really bad stuff. We could push for a little bit more damage, but I don't think it's worth it. We need to get 1 more time sigil, then we could just swing freely. Ooh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. I guess we're accidentally clicked to that. So look at the field. I think we would just do a large block on the opponent that is hit deck. And if I hadn't accidentally clicked Cult Recruiter out of the gate, I probably would have played Sky Crew, I guess. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not even that big of a difference. Okay, now here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now that Horn of Plenty really messed us up even more. Let's just plop down good old Skycrow. Gotta find a way to get this to go off. Okay. I guess we won't. Okay, now we could be getting somewhere here with this. This is what we want though, actually. I'm gonna use it on this. No. I need one more sigil to get that summon effect off the Gorger. We'll probably sect 1, 2. Okay, we're gonna have to wait a second though. I think we kind of just need to hope for the best here. I mean, they can make some pretty smart blocks, but we can also react really well. We want to just get this kill. I mean, it's a 3-8 now, but still a threat. Still a problem. Okay. Let's go ahead and cast this. Okay, so I guess between the two of those, I have to kill this. We can Warlock him. Got a little bit of damage in too, so that wasn't bad. Don't like horse nurture got showing up. Honestly, okay, so I can't trigger World Breaker next turn. Also, I'm willing to wait. Could make it a 4-2 or 4-3. I didn't get time. I do not have any time for that. Yeah, I guess I got a second. See, we gotta get that. An intern. At least we dealt with the. At least we dealt with the corrupted behemoth. The fact that it can still twist is a problem, though. That's a big deal too. Pretty sure there's no discarding, so we're just gonna plop this sucker down. Hope for the best. Man, its nerf really affected me negatively this game. But they could have just twisted anyways. But they couldn't have twisted it like this. It's very good right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They got me. Cool. No, they don't. Good. I think they're still totally at me, though. Okay. Well played. Kicked my butt. You kicked my butt. Alright, we're up against Mr. Spike. A couple of things to note. As you could see, I am wearing a different outfit, so this is a different recording date. I want to apologize real quickly. This is coming out right on schedule, by the way. This is coming out on Monday, after I've had a week to record it. But the lore along also came out today, and usually it's supposed to come Sundays. So, I'm not trying to make any excuses here. I'm just kind of explaining what's going on for those who are interested / curious. Basically, I just started using Adobe Premiere Pro, so it's a little bit of a learning process, trying to catch up and use it quickly while also getting all my recording time scheduled. Just got myself backed into a corner as far as recording, and this is the result. So, of course, as I proceed, I'll try my best to not allow it to happen again in the future. Yeah, I can just swing in. Hopefully he'll block. Okay, didn't block. Let's go, I guess, so let's just throw that down there. We'll probably block whether they have a relic or not, just to get rid of that. I have a battle skill. I guess I don't have a battle skill. Warp is not a battle skill. I should have known that. Just kill this. One up. Defiance? Yeah. Let's drop this. It's better tempo play. Because we can't drop the sword pot if we play it again. That's a pretty good relic I'm going to draw there. Dang it. What do we do here? I don't know what to do. I guess we could play it this way. No worries there. The Nightfall killed this weapon. Perfect. That is great synergy. Okay, so I haven't done justice yet, but just kill that. Let's play this shifted. Then swing. Yeah, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's kill that later. Hey, we could block with our 2/2. We're gonna end up taking it though. Glad they didn't have that spell that gives your unit double damage, because that would have hurt. Let's get rid of that real quick. I'm taking a bit of damage here, but I think it's worth it. We really need to find some justice. Currently our time guards are doing some work. There we go. Got 8 damage coming in next turn. Just need a little bit more push. We got this. Gotta figure out something about this influence and sigils, etc. Let's attack. little bit of a buff on that unit. You know, make it be able to push through unless they figure something else about it. We'll block here. Let's play. Should take the damage. Should have taken the damage. Let's get rid of the Chain Bearer. Do that Justice Sigil. Perfect. Okay, got rid of that. That's great. Enter. Ooh, the sun silence is going to hurt. Okay, let's Defiance that. There we go. Good game. Well played, Mr. Spike. Alright, brought up against Brindlemore. Other than not finding any Justice Sigils forever, that was actually went really well. And this hand seems like it could fix that issue by giving us time from Unfamiliar Interloper. Brindlemore is a Magic the Gathering card reference. It's 1 green, well, 1 justice, or 1 time depending on how you look at it. 2/2 unit. They call them creatures of magic that you can sacrifice to gain 4 life, if I remember correctly. Did I mention it's 2 attack, 2 health? It's okay card. Definitely more of a draft card. Just drop this, swing in 2 next turn. Need to drop this as soon as possible too. We've got a pretty decent curve up. We also want to drop the Interloper to get time sigils. Let's see. Yeah, we can swing it. Not our most optimal outcome that we had hoped to achieve, but hopefully we draw a sigil. Yeah, hopefully we get gain some power, so we can drop the Chain Bearer and the Life Speaker at the same time. Okay, now let's see. We did not get there, but let's just go ahead and drop this here. Shadow Sigil. Okay, so I don't want to block that. It's as simple as that. Or I can like that. I guess we can go ahead and just, you know, stop that for a second. So now they can only do 4 damage to a 10, which is very much going to help our cause. The life steal should help. Every little bit counts. Okay, so 2. Okay. That worked out excellently. Okay, got there. Okay, and no blocks. We're at 1. They're at 30. It's not looking very good. it was a pleasure. Good game, Minotaur. Okay, we're up against Victoria Fulips. Seems like it could be kept. Actually got a good amount of fixing, we just need more sigils. Alright, let's start out, we'll drop down. We need Shadow, I guess. Kinda wanna play the Kieran first, even if they do have removal. Okay, let's drop this down. We will grab a Shadow Sigil. We'll just end turn, because I don't want to mess with that. Okay. Oh. Shift? No. Possibly kind of a waste, but I was hoping they would block the 2-3. Okay. So, do we just drop the Learner Herbalist? I don't think so yet. Because we would love to be able to get to 4 after we get to 3. That is a risk I'm willing to take. When we are in a defensive position, we just don't have anything to defend with. If we can get that Kieran to get up even just a buff to these 2 units would be a very helpful buff. Oh my gosh. That'll be a 6-4. That's a really good card right now. It's like better than a Towering Terrazon. But you have to discard a card. Okay, well now it's not, but okay. Okie dokie, so I think I do want to start out with the defensive unit. Just pass the turn. We are gonna want to get the secret pages if we don't get some sigils out. I gotta end my turn. So I am willing to sacrifice the Kieran and the Stranger to kill that Frenzied Omnivore. Yes. Funny alternate art would be this thing eating a salad. Okay. And they have a lot of power. Okay, so I think the card we can most give up right now to be honest, it's probably it's probably not Defiance. I mean, Arcanus is pretty good, but in this case, let's just go ahead and do what we gotta do. We could always immortalize it. My stomach's growling. It's almost breakfast time. Ouch. Oh my gosh. They're kicking our butts. Okay. We could probably block that with everything. Well, I gotta figure out how to kill that though. Yeah, I'll just go and block with everything. Go kill these two, I'm assuming. I'm glad that it didn't have anything, but they're at 0, so. What's this still? Oh, that's terrible. Very bad. Okay, I'm in a bit of a pickle. So we know we're not getting a sigil next turn. To put up a blocker, we could take 8 damage fairly, like reasonably. Oh my gosh. This doesn't have overwhelm, knock on wood. No, I'll jump block here. Okay. So let's just go ahead and drop this real quick. Oh my gosh, we're in a rough situation, aren't we? Let's go with Justice. You know, we could have gained some life, but we need a blocker. Or we need sigils so we can place some units freely. We could take 16 once, but I still might save us. I think we just misplayed a little bit. Like a lot. Hopefully this will get us where we need to go. Okay, so there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. We should have just left Defiance up, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but we're gonna do this. We're getting our butt handed to us. Drop the Shadow Sigil. We get anything we want. I guess there's no harm in decimating now. Let's get. I guess the brightness palette doesn't really matter too much. Yep, they got us. Good game. Well played, Victoria Phillips. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a we're gonna cut it here at the 5 game mark. We're gonna cut it at the 5 game mark because I want to see what we get in our packs. Essentially, so the next week we'll have 15 games. So I really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Have a great night.